Hello, creepy kids! This is your old buddy Aiden, and Halloween is approaching, so let's draw something Halloween appropriate. The winner of this week's Patreon voting poll for who to draw was Little Ol' Sam from a little ol' film that most every horror kid knows and loves, Trick or Treat. Aside from the fact that this is a Halloween film, maybe even the Halloween film, depending on who you talk to, this one is also a horror anthology, and those of you who know your horror history knows that horror anthologies go back a long ways to like the original Dead of Night, some of the Amicus films like Asylum, I think Tales from the Crypt was one of theirs. There's films like The Monster Club, Trilogy of Terror, and of course the one everybody really loves is Creepshow. So the thing about horror anthologies is they pop up every now and then. Whether or not they work all depends. Two of the things that really hold back horror anthologies, or a lot of them, is just number one, the imbalance of quality between the multiple stories. There are some films that we remember for one story in particular, and then all the rest of them we kind of forget. For example, Trilogy of Terror, everybody knows the story of the Zuni doll and Karen Black being chased by it, but the other two stories kind of get forgotten. The other difficult thing that horror anthologies kind of face is just sometimes they collapse under their own weight. Sometimes they go on too long, sometimes they ask the audience to be introduced to too many new elements again and again, and it becomes kind of a blur. To that extent, however many horror anthology films actually work, I guess is all up to you and however much you remember some of them. I will say that Creepshow and Trick or Treat really are the strongest, and as for which one edges out the other, in my opinion, I think Trick or Treat just barely edges out Creepshow, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for that, but I think for me, the only reason that is the case is mostly just because of Creepshow's length. Maybe if they cut out a story or cut down on a story, such as The Crate, it would work a lot better. It's fine, don't get me wrong, I love Creepshow, but Trick or Treat works perfectly. First of all, Trick or Treat is just the right amount of stories. It keeps it to 4 along with a framing story, which is absolutely perfect. What they also get right, and this is really important, is Trick or Treat really knows which stories it contains are the strongest ones. There's a couple of funny stories. There's the one with the principal poisoning the kids, which is funny, and there's the werewolf girls. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but I figure you've all seen this by now. These two stories are fine, they work just well, but the movie is also smart enough to keep these stories short, because if these two in particular had gone on too long, they would have overstayed their welcome, the joke would have gotten old, or the surprise would have been lost, so it really does work to its advantage that these two stories are kept the shortest. The two strongest stories are the ones that get the most time devoted to them, and these are the ones that really work the best. First of all is the Halloween School Bus Massacre, which is a pretty horrifying setup, honestly, and it really stays with you. It works out really well. It's a great setting. It would work totally fine as a short movie or a short story in and of itself, and it's just the right length it needs to be. And then, of course, you have the final story, which is the crabby old man being stopped by Sam in the house. Again, this is actually a little similar to Karen Black and the Zuni doll from Trilogy of Terror, and it has the same amount of suspense. It just doesn't have Sam making as silly noises as that weird little doll did, but actually that damn thing probably deserves its own video. Let's just stay with Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat is just the right length. It really covers a lot of ground. It doesn't feel repetitive in the least, and it's just a lot of fun, and obviously a lot of love was put into this movie. The director has done some other fun monster romps, such as Krampus and Godzilla King of the Monsters, so I think it's safe to say he knows what he's doing. So to all you ghoulies, ghosties, long-leggedy beasties, and things that take a dump in the night, happy Halloween to all of you. Check your candy before you eat it. Bye-bye.